All right, guys. So today we're going to look at quitting porn from a bit of an unusual perspective. Okay. I've always been fascinated with guys who are both extremely successful and unapologetic assholes. And it's not that like I find like jerks admirable or anything. It's just that I'm interested in people who have completely thrown out society's playbook of niceness and they still get ahead. Now, I'm not particularly interested in the guys who do this through lying or, deep manipulation. They're just kind of rude. They don't care about getting people to like them. All right. These guys, when I see one of those guys get ahead, I really want to know what he's doing. Now, you can get into all the red pill psychology around this stuff and about how being a nice guy is a bad strategy and makes you look needy and unappealing. And, all these kind of conversations hold value. But I think most of this kind of discourse, this red pill discourse out there, totally misses the truly important bit. And to get at that, I just want to point something out to you, okay? There are plenty of assholes who are massively unsuccessful, right? There's plenty of just jerks who are just bums on the street. And so what's the big difference between the successful and the unsuccessful asshole? And that's where I think the super interesting bit is. So what's the difference between the successful and the unsuccessful assholes? Well, I think it comes down to one critical thing: undeniable value proposition. You see, when you're a jerk and you want to get ahead, well, you can't hide behind platitudes, flattery, and all the nice guy fluffy shit. Because at the end of the day, you simply need to offer something that another party wants at a price they are willing to pay, right? You need to make it crystal clear what's in it for them. And that is the value proposition, okay? Like the jerk who's selling a better product at a better price and can properly communicate that to his audience is going to be way more successful than the nice guy who's wonderfully pleasant but offers something more expensive and less effective. Now, I'm not saying that a pleasant shopping experience doesn't hold a premium value in and of itself, but I'm saying that at the end of the day, when people's money is on the line, what they really care about is what are they getting for it? Right? We've all seen the example of the egoic, problematic superstar athlete who's like a total jerk, but he's making an insane amount of money. Well, how does he do this? By being an undeniable value proposition. You bring him on, you're gonna win games, right? This is why the rich asshole can always get a girl, because the value proposition is clear. Hey, you be my girl, guess what? I'm going to show you a good time. You're going to ride around in fancy cars. You're going to eat at nice restaurants. You're going to be provided for. You're not going to have to work. That's a pretty strong value proposition to at least a segment of the female population. And so what does this have to do with quitting porn? Well, I think it comes down to needing the same level of brutal transactional honesty with yourself. You see, I see a lot of guys faff around in the shoulds of quitting porn. They are focused on the things that they're supposed to think. Like, my religion tells me not to use porn, or my wife is mad I use porn, or porn's a dirty habit, right? These kinds of things. And, these might be totally true. And there's weight to these things. But it's more about the way in which you interact with these reasons, right? Is it going through your head like a laundry list of things that the naughty little boy needs to fix in order to become a good little boy? And if that's the case, then you're completely missing the motivational meat of a true value proposition to yourself, because all that stuff, it speaks to the should part of your brain. And that part is your prefrontal cortex. And that part's interesting, powerful, and there's definite value to it. It can tell the truth. But the problem is that part of your brain doesn't control your neurochemicals. All right, that part of your brain has very little power when it comes to overriding the part of your brain where cravings exist, which is in the limbic part of your brain, the mammalian, more, central part of your brain. And so if you want to be able to quit porn, you got to learn how to turn that part on. In order to do that, you need a strong value proposition that appeals to that part. So if a jerk was trying to sell you the process of quitting porn, okay, he wouldn't talk to you about any of that Sunday school stuff, okay? He'd be laser focused in what's in it for you, okay? More productivity, more money, better sex, legitimate confidence and swagger born of true self-control, spiritual fire gained from an indomitable spiritual alignment, all right? He's talking about the stuff that, lights a fire underneath you, that gets you excited, that gets you like, ooh, I want that. Okay. And what I'm trying to inspire here is to have you get really freaking real about what you actually want out of the process of quitting porn, right? What is the thing that when you think about it, it's like, oh yeah, that's worth it. And sometimes it's a little difficult to be completely honest with ourselves about this sort of thing. Like a lot of times, like for example, I'll be, working with guys who are married and stuff like that. And they talk about all these reasons about why they want to quit porn and things like that. And then I'll, just keep asking them some questions and we'll get down into them like, so what's your intimacy look like with your wife? You guys, good on that level? And it turns out they have a totally dead bedroom. And they didn't even mention that. They don't even want to admit it to themselves that like, yeah, well, one of the big things I want is to have frequent, great sex with my wife. And my porn problem is completely blocking me from being able to be that guy. And it's like, well, own that, let yourself own the fact that that's what you want. Same thing with a single guy. It's like, okay, you want to quit porn so that you can finally motivate yourself to level up in life and attract a woman and be able to approach her and not just like have all your sexual energy leaking out of you so that, you're not even motivated to do this stuff. Like, oh, you want to have a family, you want to have kids, you want to, get these things. Own that. All right. Let yourself feel that true desire. And to be clear, I'm not telling you to be a jerk or superficial or anything like that. Like, those kinds of things, it's a bad strategy to live. I think, the kind man, the man with, love in his heart who masters value proposition is going to be, more successful and fulfilled than the jerk who has it. What I'm trying to get you to do is to cut through your own unconsciously accumulated BS and get crystal clear on your personal, authentic why when it comes to quitting porn. So I encourage you, take some time to really think about this and let me know in the comments below what you come up with, okay? And once you've got some clarity on that, you're gonna need a first step to begin turning that commitment into action. And that is where I've got you covered, okay? So particularly if you are an entrepreneurial father who's got tons of responsibility and high stakes around getting clean, then you need to watch my Craving Kill Box training. In it, I'll teach you a simple scheduling technique that will let you begin eviscerating your cravings to use porn while simultaneously making you more productive and less stressed. So if you're interested in that, just click the link below, watch the free 15-minute training, and I will see you in the next one. Ooh, yeah.